What is up, denizens of the interwebs? It's Arza Chats here, and the salt just continues to flow. This time, our favorite political pundit, bad actor, least favorite Hulk actor, Mark Ruffalo, finally had something to say in regards to what happened on November 5th, and it's just as tone-deaf and idiotic as the rest of every single time he's opened his mouth about politics. Let's not forget that Mark Ruffalo implied that you're a horrible person if you don't go out and buy an electric vehicle right now. Right now. You gotta do it right now, otherwise you're a terrible person, ignoring the fact that electric vehicles are expensive as fuck. He also was the same person who went out and told people they were bad people if they used gas stoves and they had to go out and get a new kind of stovetop, ignoring the fact that stoves are expensive. He's a champagne liberal who has no idea how the actual average person has to deal with, and he can only look at the world through his very jaded perspective of someone who's ultra rich yet doesn't use his money for anything good. Ruffalo is, of course, the kind of guy who throws a tantrum online and then expects everyone else to do all the hard work while he just throws a tantrum and doesn't have to do anything. Mark Ruffalo is the definition of a leftist until it affects him. But of course, Ruffalo isn't the only one who's come out and had a recent meltdown in regards to what happened November 5th. A few other people had come out, so let's go ahead and take a look at a few more of those industry meltdowns. And before we get started, I know what you're going to say. Arza Chats, this is your fourth time covering meltdowns. What is it? Is the news slow? Yes. The news is actually kind of slow. Otherwise, I'd cover other stuff. But like I said, let's get into these articles. So the first and most ridiculous one comes from Doctor Strange and the Black Phone writer C. Robert Cardigal, who claims that there is a war on women. Coming from a comment he made on Blue Sky, to my fellow dude creatives, the war on women people said wasn't happening is fucking happening out in the open. The culture war is raging, but we are the culture. Follow women creatives, promote women, produce their work, hire them for your projects and rooms. Women can't win this one alone. There are a lot of really stupid comments made in that small tweet. What do you call a Blue Sky message? I'm just going to say a liberal tier. There was a lot of bad statements made in that liberal tier right there. First of all, women can't win this one on their own. So, male savior complex right on display. Perfect. I'm glad that you think that women are not capable individuals. Tell me how your men's burden is coming along. Good old Robert Cargill. Also, women are currently dominating most of the creative spaces at the moment, so I don't know why you say that there needs to be more. I'm pretty sure... Let's see. Yeah, according to this chart from Women and Hollywood, TV statistics, women represent 50% of staff writers, 53% of story editors, 49% of executive story editors, 42% of co-producers, 41% of producers, 51% of supervising producers, 38% of consulting producers, 34% of co-exec producers, and 70% of exec producers, and 24% of showrunners. So, women are creating quite a bit. They're, with the exception of those really high up jobs that actually require expertise, given the few number of women who are actually qualified to run these shows due to the lack of experience, you're talking out of your ass. Women are creating as much as they should be creating, 50%. If you think that the world needs to be equal, then they're equal, so I don't know what your complaint is. But of course, this guy doesn't give a shit about equality. He only cares about propping up things for social benefit. So he won't be satisfied until women are at least 75% of creatives, completely ignoring the fact that the reason why there aren't more female creatives is due to the slew of women creatives who are coming in and not qualified to do the work, as they prep up unqualified women instead of waiting for qualified women to come along. And then, of course, the culture bit. Yes, the culture is raging, but no, you are not the culture. You are the force trying to stranglehold the culture into something that it isn't. And what parts of the culture there is inherently toxic and actively anti-women, just as you are. Given the fact that you think women need protecting, it just goes to show your lack of feminist values in all reality. So no, you're not the culture. You are the people destroying the culture, and we are the ones who are trying to save it. And then, of course, I'm still waiting. Where's that war on women you're talking about? Because as far as I'm concerned, there isn't a war on women that is outside of the Middle East. Of course, George Clooney has also made a few statements, given the fact that he was heavily involved in the Harris campaign this time around. Since people frequently say that it's because of him that Biden had stopped running in the race, given the fact that he's the one who made the op-ed in the New York Times calling for Biden to step down and allow for Kamala and endorse Kamala instead, to which Biden did a week later. He's claiming that this is about age, nothing more, but also nothing can be reversed. We are not going to win on November with this president. On top of that, we won't win the House and we're going to lose the Senate. Both of those end up being true. This isn't only my opinion, this is the opinion of every senator and Congress member and governor who I've spoken with in private. Every single one, irrespective of what he or she is saying publicly. And I believe that because, well, they're both incompetent. But let's be honest, Biden probably would have done a little bit better. And you know the reason he said this is about age, nothing more? That's only said as a way to also devalue the Orange Man to make him look even worse, given the fact that he's similarly old. However, he's a lot sharper than either of his opponents were. Now that Harris has objectively not won, and they also lost the House and the Senate, an insider came to Daily Mail to report that Clooney is quitting politics. An anonymous source told the outlet George feels that the backlash he is getting for Kamala losing is not at all warranted. He thinks it is completely unfair to try and make him a scapegoat for her loss, the source added. The source went on, he has backed the Democratic Party, invested so much time and money into them, but he is going to take a step back for now. He feels very disheartened. When he wrote his op-ed, George did not say Biden is not fit to be president, choose Kamala. The Democrats jumped on Kamala, and within days, she was the candidate, he said. George believes that they should have taken a step back and looked at their options. That is why he did not endorse her right away. However, it was reported, as John and Trent included up here in the article, that George Clooney did in fact endorse VP Kamala Harris. And no, while I won't say that it's Clooney's fault that Kamala lost, he certainly didn't help, because when you see all the people coming out and shilling for them who aren't actually saying anything of substance and only going on to do ad hominem attacks against the Orange Man or using artificial things to inflate Kamala, you're not putting on a good light, and you're actually going to make people not want to vote for her because she seems fake, inauthentic. And when you look at the fact that all of the people who endorse her have strange connections to the baby oil man, it's very concerning at the least, and it makes it all look very fake, and the fact of the matter is it looks inauthentic, and people care a lot about authenticity. But also, you're the one who insisted on running your mouth, so whatever kind of backlash you get after you've run your mouth, you deserve. You don't get to backtrack when you're on the losing side. Be like, oh, well, I didn't endorse her right away, or say stupid stuff like that. You went out there, and this was in part your fault, because you threw your hat into the ring. So, Clooney, it's not that you should stay out of politics from now on, it's that you should never have ever gotten into them. And then finally, the one piece we're all waiting for, Mark Ruffalo, everyone's favorite Hollywood lolcow, who recently gave a speech at the ACLU SoCal's Bill of Rights Awards, and it took a notably somber tone as he approached the podium. So let's give a nice little listen to whatever he has to say, unfortunately.
That all happens. And thank you, ACLU of Southern California, for all you do, and frankly, what you will be doing in 2 weeks and months and years ahead. We got our asses kicked.
Damn right you did.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger. But sometimes you have to spend a little time in bed before it happens.
Well, no, generally you don't, only if you have the luxury to do that.
It was hard to come here, honestly.
If it was hard for you to come to an event where you're being paid to speak at, maybe you need to, I don't know, get a hold of your goddamn life.
So we need the ACLU of Southern California for your skills and among many other things to protect us in this country. Now, suffice to say, it's overwhelming and humbling to receive this special honor.
You know, he's almost as good of a public speaker
really
as he is an actor.
Stand with the company of tonight's honorees. We've heard such great stories and seen such beautiful tributes to everybody. And I'm also grateful to be here in attendance with all of you guys. The fact that we're here says a great deal about what we all care about in this life. And I want to appreciate you all for your values and the grief.
Well, you know, Mark, approximately 30% of California voted for the Orange Man. So maybe you don't appreciate all of their values. You don't know the values of the people in the room you're in. You don't know what you're talking about. So maybe just remember, conservatives buy tennis shoes too.
And the fear that you most acutely may be feeling as well. Because I know I am.
Oh, we can tell.
We suffered a great loss. It's a loss that touches deeply on so much of what we've worked for and we've hoped for and dreamed of for such a long time now. So I want to do something a little unorthodox, a little like, you know, a participatory kind of thing. So I want everyone to stand up, those of you who can. Come on up. Now I want you to turn to the person that is next to you and give them a hug.
gay.
Even this couple fighting here.
No, that's really fucking gay.
And tell each other you love each other. It's gonna be okay.
Somehow it got worse. Well, I gotta say thank you, Mark. I think you've cured me. I think you've made me feel a lot better about who I am. You made me realize I could be a lot worse. There's always deeper levels of degenerate homosexuality I could go into, but I will never be as bad as one as you are, Mark Ruffalo. These people are fully obsolete, and it's entirely their fault, and that's absolutely hilarious to see. Then the fact that Mark Ruffalo comes up there and says that he's been in bed for the last week, on the verge of breaking down and crying on stage. It even said in that article that he spoke for another 20 minutes about the Orange Man. How about you, I don't know, get a fucking job? When was the last time you bothered acting in a project, you champagne socialist? You don't have a single real problem in your life? This is certainly not going to be a problem for you, aside from the fact that maybe people will finally start rejecting your crap films. And all of these actors who came out there put everything on the line for a candidate who had 0% chance of winning, just to come out here and continue to cry now that they've realized that everything they did was for nothing. It's kind of boring to see, and it's honestly, you get no sympathy, because at the end of the day, you deserve what you're dealing with. So, Mark Ruffalo, how about you stop crying from inside of your $1 million electric vehicle or whatever. Stop crying from the safety of your gated community and maybe actually interact with a real person for a change and realize the rest of the world does not share your values. Not even all of California shares your values. Only the inner cities do. But honestly, I'm looking forward to the next 4 years of absolute meltdowns, and hopefully we get even more after that. Looking at you, JD, don't let us down. But that's pretty much what I've got. Let me know down in the comments what you guys think about this, and I will see you guys on the next one.